Okay guys, welcome back. So we're still here at ECPC with Mr. Wonder. Delighted to be joined by Eric Steuben. Nice to see you, Eric.
Nice to see you.
We are going to run through a little putter fit, J-Dub.
Yeah, we got you here in the nexus of the Odyssey fitting studio, putter lab, whatever you want to call it. So we have a lot of tour player fittings in here in the off season.
Yep.
And we got Quintek and Eric, just for the folks at home. He's our R&D/tour fitter, scientist, smart kid that we have on the truck. When we need somebody smart on the truck, he's the guy that comes in and helps Odyssey get our players dialed. So good guy to look at your numbers. And I have a few ideas on what we might be able to show you today, but I'm just going to have you kind of go through the process. Eric will walk you through. I think you hit 6 putts with your gamer.
We're going to run the gamer through it. I mean, when I was with Dr. Paul earlier in the year, he said, we ran through a kind of bit of a Quintek fit. He said, I love the shape for you. He said, I want some different things in the design of the putter. So he identified one of the Odyssey ones, and I'm sure we'll try one of those today, I'm sure. But I won't let that lead this. I mean, we'll just go at it fresh, Eric, and whatever it is, it is. I mean, a stroke may have changed, who knows? But looking forward to diving into it.
So Ian, when your normal miss when you putt, like consistently, you pull, push.
Honestly, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't really have a terrible bias towards one or the other. I think on breaking putts, I tend to have a bias on aim that tends to lead the miss a little bit more.
Okay.
When I get on a platform like this, it's pretty neutral.
So straight putts don't bother you?
No,
Okay,
I'm not fearing a straight putt.
Gotcha.
No.
Okay, very nice. And that's a putter, the one your gamer, like you mentioned you like the shape.
Yep.
Have you experimented with different shapes in the past, or have you always kind of gone to that?
I've played just about everything.
Okay.
I've played 2 balls. I've played everything.
Like high MOI mallets you've played?
Spiders.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's probably been on a blade for about 4 years.
Okay.
Played something with a
Probably
little
grew up
bit
playing
more.
something similar to that too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I played an original Odyssey Dual Force 2.
Oh yeah.
And then I had a Tri-Hot 3. Those are the 2 from junior golf that I remember the most. That would be a pretty common studio putt. Little pushy, sometimes see it gearing back a little bit, just a touch of a hook spin to it.
The launch angle is coming up super high on here.
Right.
Sometimes in Quintek that can indicate you're hitting it straight down into the ground.
Yep.
Sometimes it can indicate you're just launching it super high. In this case, right, we go to the overview here. The shaft angle, and let's go back to putt 6, right? So adding a little bit of loft.
Yep.
In this case, probably just hitting it super high. So that would be the first thing we would look at. Launch angle on these, on average, we're looking just under 5 degrees.
Okay.
That can come down, honestly, 2 to 3 degrees. We like to see that between 1 and 2. We're okay if it creeps up a little over 2 degrees. Right. But that 4.9 is pretty high.
Yep.
And you can solve that by either taking off loft or pushing the CG way forward.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the loft on that, Ian?
This guy is at 2 degrees, J-Dub.
Okay.
Yeah, I normally play them at 2. I'm kind of trying to get out of a bit of a kind of press habit, so it's interesting to see the shaft a little bit back. So that's probably a little bit of reaction of something I've been trying to do, maybe overdone it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was kind of had not enough launch in the summer.
Right.
Last time I was on here.
Or
so
you're doing it perfect, doing it the way you want to. You just haven't made adjustments to the putter to fit the.
Totally. But it's good to see a lot of consistency around the face rotation. 2 miss hits.
Yeah.
But the rest pretty decent on strike, and then face angle for the most part was decent, apart from number 5, which got a little bit open. So yeah, not too
bad at all. No.
The other thing to note here, right? The difference between your address and your impact angle.
Yep.
And like you said, if you're going to have a miss, you've got a couple of these that are a degree or higher of a push.
Yeah.
That's something where we would go a touch deeper in CG, or which was going to create less toe hang. So longer hosel, maybe face balanced, or like I said, something with a little deeper CG we can play with.
what I'd like to do is start you off with a double wide and crank hosel, which is a shape that you're familiar with, but it's just going to add a little bit more. It's more of an MOI style.
Yep.
You know, there's tri-hot one, and then there's this double wide.
Yeah.
I want to start you off. I want to go from one extreme to the other, so I just want to see how you react to a head.
It's a good start, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt like a bit of a miss, a bit of a kind of inside, little bit toy on the strike. It felt like
that was a strike that was comparable to the one you missed left with your gamer.
Yeah.
And if you could see it, I mean, we're looking at it right now. You still got a damn near center punch roll out of a shot that should have gone. You should have missed it left.
It definitely felt like.
Like, was that out of the toe or was that out of the middle?
That one felt pretty good.
Okay.
All right,
boys, good start.
not bad. 6 for 6.
So your numbers with your gamer right now are really, really good. Your numbers with this are, I don't want to say substantially better, but they're better.
Yeah, so taking a look at the summary, let's go to the overview. I mean, obviously you know Quintic just as well as we do. One of the things that we noticed, so we brought these through at Sea Island at the RSM Classic last year. As the forward CG on those, players started to react a little bit and the shaft angle dropped, and we see the same thing with you. I think pretty common thing to see when guys go from a deeper CG to forward, but that brought your launch angle down. So even that might be a touch lower in loft, or a touch stronger, I should say, but brings you down to a 4 degrees. So we're getting closer, start taking, a degree off of that instead of 2. Would still love to see if we get a little less toe hang and bring that with that kind of forward CG. It increases the toe hang. So not, even though it's a bigger model, not a huge difference in toe hang between that and like a standard blade answer style putter.
Right, okay.
It was nice.
That was really nice. So we have the tri-hot one, the shape that he likes. I'd be interested to see if you took this loft down on this from like 3 down to 2.
Yeah.
And see what happens to that launch. I mean, because we played with CG, right?
Yeah.
That's a bigger head, so it's going to mitigate, your reaction to it's going to mitigate some of the properties of the putter. So I feel like putting something in his hands that is low lofted and with the head stability, I feel like that might get that number closer to the low 3s or the high 2s.
Yeah.
I think it's worth trying, but I don't know. We might have to just take a little loft off of this putter.
Yeah,
You know
definitely.
do that?
Yeah, of course I know how to do that. I can bend a putter.
Okay.
I got asked that a lot last year.
So why don't we try to get this down to 2?
Okay.
I wouldn't even mind going a little more than that. I mean, if they were 4 consistently at 4, I know the CG's moving a little more. I'd go, because I'm at 2 right now.
So go to 1.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd go down a little more.
So he's going to release it the way he likes it with less loft and more head stability.
A good start, boys.
That's going to be even lower. That's 2.5.
It was nice and end over end too.
You got a little forward press on that one. That's going to be low.
That was a beautiful
That was
putt.
probably the best one you've hit for that putter, that last one.
Fantastic. So brought that down. It's under 3 degrees now.
Perfect. Yeah, big change.
Like we said, this time of year, gonna take that.
Totally.
Face angle, once again, great. I mean, you don't have a problem with that at all, especially with this head
Yeah,
style.
seemed good.
Let's go to the face. So pretty similar. I mean, 1/10 of a degree different from your gamer, but for the most part, right, you're bringing it back about a 1/2 degree open to where you aim and right where you think you are.
Got it.
So performing, like I said, for the most part, same as your gamer. A little bit less twist on this one. Brought that range down a little bit, so your consistency is a little tighter.
Yeah.
The average twist, which is of course what the higher MOI is supposed to do.
Right.
I mean, if we're in a putter fitting environment, which we are, not just to pick one, we're telling you to go with that.
Go with this one,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers look phenomenal.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool, very cool. Forward rotation, where did we end up there with?
So you ended up on average at 30 RPM forward spin. You started with your gamer at 24 RPM of backspin.
So that, to be honest, and I'm glad we left that to the end. That was what Paul and I saw. So this is what the good doc and I ended up in.
Yeah.
In the summer, and that's almost exactly the same situation. So we had a little bit of backspin with mine. We turned it into about 30 RPMs of forward spin. And just by moving that CG up a little bit, that's exactly what we saw.
Which is going to keep the ball hugging the ground a little tighter with a little bit more energy.
Well, you know, all those little wins, right? So, you know, if we're hitting putts, we always talk about, you know, no putts hit on a perfect surface. We're not hitting it in granite. So if we have the ball sort of launching and tipping backwards or even tilting slightly and we're on a slope or whatever, that as that rebounds and corrects itself, if we're on that slope, we are not then in control of the direction of that golf ball. So we certainly want it tracking in that direction if we possibly can.
Which really shows its ugly head in the 5-6 footer range when you have a breaking putt.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, I mean, it was kind of going to go in that direction, but I'm glad we took a little bit of a detour on the way and we tried some other blades, some of the wider bodied ones. Quite interesting, just even again running through those numbers there, looking at some of the shaft lean differences as you get into different necks.
Right.
I think that's some of the things that, you know, we have to explore when anyone comes in for a putter fit, is how do you react to not just a, you know, whether it be a plumber's neck or a double bend or whatever, you've got to
stretch your legs a little bit,
go through the journey a little bit to see what works. But quite similar in terms of shape, very similar to what I currently use, but we're just utilizing some technology.
Yeah, I talk about, you know, on my channel quite a bit, I talk about raising the floor when it comes to fitting, and Eric's heard me say this a million times, but, you know, good club fitting isn't necessarily raising the ceiling and making your perfect shots better. It's making the floor higher and getting it as close to your ceiling as possible. And I feel like what we saw with Quintech today with this putter versus your gamer, this would be raising your floor. You already put that one great out of center punch. We know you make putts with this one. Your misses are going to get better with this one.
Well, we made 18 putts in a row with the Odyssey putters, right? So the job was done with all of them, but it's how we get the job done, you know, in you know, a non-perfect fashion on the golf course that we're going to see the benefit with this guy.
You're giving yourself your best chance to make it, not only when you're stroking it well, but when you're not stroking it well with this putter versus the rest of them.
Love it. Yeah. Well, guys, I mean, even, you know, I've done a few of these putter fits, and even going through the process myself, it's still, I get the same reaction and reward from going through it and kind of trying different putters, going through that process of elimination and arriving back at kind of what we thought, which is reassuring. You know, any of our customers that come in and, you know, they walk in with the putter they've got and they walk back out with it, or walk out with a new version but slight tweaks, there's a lot of pleasing things for me for that, you know, I was in a good spot, but it just got incrementally better, which is really, really good to see.
Yeah, very cool.
Love it.
I love it, man.
Thank you, brother.
I want to thank Eric Stubin.
Big thanks to Eric.
Of course.
Running the Quintech for us there, and it's nice to not have my eyes on that side of the screen for a change and get to be the customer. So, Eric, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
There you go, Stubin.
Love it. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. We've got a couple more videos down here at ECPC. Thank you to Johnny Boy for hosting us.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned. We'll see you again soon.